Welcome to the Design and Remodeling Show, where we share stories, tips, and transformations that help you turn the place you live into a home you love. In every episode, we talk about homes, but today we're talking about what makes a home truly meaningful. In this special episode, we're sharing a story of tragedy and triumph. You'll hear the journey of Michael Flory, founder of Custom Built, visionary behind our mission, and my dad. This is the story behind why we do what we do. This episode is raw, it's emotional, but it ends with hope and a powerful reminder that even from the hardest places, something beautiful can be built. This is the Design and Remodeling Show.
I'm fortunate to be where I'm at today, and so I'm super excited to be able to share this story. I think most people can take away from my story is that anything's possible. Grew up in Lansing. I had an amazing childhood, and I was very athletic. I grew up with a dad that was my hockey coach and my soccer coach. I had a mom that I spent a lot of time with, and that's kind of the beginning of where everything changed. I had just finished fourth grade. A normal Sunday afternoon, my mom was getting ready to have dinner. My grandpa unexpectedly came over. He was invited for dinner, and he came in with an intent to kill his entire family and himself.
A nice, normal family. That's how neighbors we spoke with today described the Flory family. Yesterday, Melville Hemwood came over for dinner, and about 10 minutes after he arrived, he started shooting.
I was shot twice. Everybody in the home was shot. My dad was instantly killed. I can remember my mom's last words and telling me to run. I remember waking up, laying on the ground in a pool of blood.
Roughly 5 hours after the shooting, the search for Hemwood came here, to his home at 911 Clark Street. Police had received reports from nearby residents at around 11:30 of muffled gunshots. They thought Hemwood had possibly committed suicide. It turned out when they arrived, he was already gone before state police SWAT troops had come.
You had a really stable home before, both your parents were involved in your life a lot. What did life look like after that?
So the tragedy happened in my home. It happened at our dinner table.
Yeah.
It happened in our family room. What I was left with was living in an environment that was void of a mother and father. Going from a young boy with a family that I loved to be with to attending my parents' funeral, processing this stuff as a 10-year-old little boy. My brother ended up getting custody. We stayed in our home, our childhood home.
You stayed in the home that your parents were killed in.
Yeah. And I would say that was very, very, very difficult for me as a 10-year-old boy to understand, to process. But I remember holding on to the things that had positive memories. Christmas time, the music, and my dad playing the organ, and I can remember the smells. But the reality of what Christmas was like that first year, the pain of being in that place over and over again, was too much for me. And as I began to become a young man, I started experiencing major depressive episodes. I was diagnosed as bipolar at the age of 15. I was at a broken place. The anger, resentment, and pain that I felt towards my grandfather. People want to know, did he go to jail? No, he didn't go to jail. He was acquitted on insanity. Whether it was for good or bad, I went to his funeral, and I was going to be able to lay to rest. This guy had finally died. To go to a funeral and to think now that he's at rest somewhere and I'm still wrestling with the mess that he left really did not bring me any closure.
So what was that moment for you, that light switch that went off to bring you to today?
For me, I didn't feel like I could do anything that I really dreamed of doing, and so it's why do I want to live? The despair and the depression and then the medications that I was on all sorts of antidepressant medications, and some of them helped, some of them made it worse. None of them ever fixed my depression. I tried to take my life. On the way to work, I called in sick, was plotting my death, and I passed out. To this day, I couldn't tell you. I can remember the stop sign I was sitting at. I can remember the thoughts that I were having, and then I don't remember what happened, but I ended up at my sister-in-law's house. She took me in, prayed for me, and there was just a moment that night where The way I would describe it is it was like being back at that Christmas holiday, gratitude, thanksgiving, hope, peace, joy, love on a massive level. It was unbelievable. Something happened to me that I can't explain to this day, but I began to believe that I could live healed. And I can remember a specific day. For me, this was a pivotal point in my journey of healing. Whether it's religion or in psychology, there's one thing that is really instrumental in healing. It's called forgiveness. I saw my grandfather for how broken he was as a person. I saw myself in that moment for how broken I was. And then I saw myself forgiven. And what I saw about myself is how special I was. I could see for the first time that, like, he's a broken man and I don't have to fix him. And I have this life before me, and I had hope and I had dreams. I was able to get off all of my medications. There was a dream inside of me that, man, someday I'm gonna have my own family, and someday I'm gonna be able to right the wrong. I longed for that day. And then I met my beautiful wife, Cassie, and like, oh man, like so much to unpack there, but she is an amazing woman. And that really was the beginning of the hope and in the beginning of my family, in the beginning of Custom Built beginning to rise up. You know, my story really began to transform when I was 20 years old. I met my wife, Cassie, and we got married. She had always had a dream to be a doctor. And so she went ahead and started medical school. I'm working part-time at Home Depot. So here I am, 24 years old. I'm making probably about $10 an hour, and we're living off stipends. We had committed as a couple that she was going to finish med school and she was going to serve in a poor area, and there was grant money where they would pay back your student loans. So we had a plan. Well, that all changed. We found out 8-9 months into our marriage that we were pregnant, and that changed everything. We kind of landed on the idea that she could finish her medical school later, and that's when the entrepreneur inside of me began to rise up. Like, I'm gonna figure out a way that I can provide for my family. I began my first entrepreneur adventure. I went and bought 4 houses, no money down, over the next year, started fixing those houses up. Really didn't have any experience doing that. Cassie's dad was a builder, so I got to work with him a little bit. So he wasn't YouTube, but he did teach me a few things. And my best friend today was at Michigan State, and him and I had started building dorm room lofts, and we built it from building 10 in 1 year to close to 3,000 dorm room lofts together. He had worked for a builder and had gotten his builder's license, and so I was learning from him. We jumped into business together. A few years went by, and then Michigan State kind of banned loft building. They had remodeled all the dorms, so that business went away, and then I started Custom Built. 2006, we got really going, and then the crash happened in 2008.
2 years in, crash happens. What does that look like?
Well, I mean, uncertainty. We were building a lot of decks and finishing basements, and that, I mean, literally went away overnight. In starting the business early on, that there's just so much faith that goes into doing things before you know how it's going to turn out. We're hiring people now because we want to grow.
You've got a team of 25, 30 people. How did you go from you and a couple carpenters to where we are today?
I had this vision of wanting to impact lives and share my story. We went from being very focused on building decks to we can do anything. We kind of broadened our horizons and then really began to focus in on the design aspect of building. If we're gonna do this, let's become a design build company and let's go out and hire designers. And so we just began to build the company one person at a time. 2018, I hired our first salesperson or advisor. Right after COVID, we hired 3 other advisors, and there was so much work going on. Everybody was sitting at home and everybody wanted to get rid of their ugly spaces and bring joy and love back into their home, because what they were looking at was messes, or they're trying to figure out how to do offices. So that really created a huge opportunity.
So can you talk just a little bit about, your story? The home was a central place for you, right? It was the place where the greatest love and tragedy happened. And now we actually go in, and what we do here at Custom Build is create those spaces. We go in and redesign it. And so where do you see like your passion being used?
When you're a homeowner and like you get to go through that remodeling experience, it's painful. You know, it's like tearing down in order to make new again. And so much of my story is there's a lot of things inside of me that have to get tore down and rebuilt. This analogy, one of the things that I love is being able to go in and just gut something, take it down to its core, and then rebuild something that when people walk into the space, it brings a smile to their face, it brings joy into their hearts. And for Custom Built to be able to have been the one that has a privilege to take that home and turn it into something beautiful is absolutely beyond anything that I could ever think or imagine how I would be impacting lives through owning this business. I get to live and be a part of a company where I get to impact lives of my team and help my team grow. The coolest thing about what I get to, this story is that this is my firstborn child. This is Isabel. At Custom Built now, our team gets to go around and work with homeowners and go through this painful remodeling experience to take their worn out bathroom or their kitchen or their outdoor space and turning it into something that is just, wow. It's like that experience that I had at 20 years old. It's such a parallel. And for me to think the houses that I'm remodeling, you know, a lot of them have a story, kind of like my house did. I think about my childhood house a lot and the story that that house bears. It's been remodeled. It's not 1986 anymore. And there's people that we can go in and remodel homes and we can recreate memories for futures, for generations to come. We say that we take the place that people live and turn it into a home that they love.
By now you've been able to hear the Custom Built story and really understand our heart, which is to impact families. And so we're grateful for you for watching this, and we hope that you continue to come alongside us as we make a bigger impact, as we touch the lives of those around us, and you can do that today. Our hope is that you take the inspiration that you've gotten from this video and from Michael's story, and you use that to impact those around you, to love those more deeply, and to go through your life with more joy, hope, and peace, knowing that each one of us has a great purpose.
Thank you for watching this special episode. At Custom Built, our mission goes far beyond remodeling homes. It's about rebuilding lives, restoring hope, and creating spaces where families can thrive. If this story moved you, we invite you to follow the rest of our journey. Visit our website to catch up on the latest episodes of the Design and Remodeling Show with Custom Built. We're grateful you're here and can't wait to see the impact we'll continue to make together. Stay tuned, because up next, you'll hear some home improvement tips from our sponsors.
If your smoke detector is making this annoying chirping sound, today in this video, we're going to talk about what you can do to address it. With this smoke detector, it needs to be working. The batteries need to be charged. An easy way to test it, this is how most of them are. There's a button, usually on the center, could be on the side. If I press this, it's gonna make that annoying chirping sound, but you know that it's working. If you need to replace the batteries, just slide it down. Usually there's a battery compartment, slides down similar to how this is right here. Mine takes 2 AA batteries, some take a 9-volt. So pretty simple with this one. I would just go ahead, insert 2 new AA batteries. The compartment slides back up, press that button, make sure you get a chirp and that it's ready to roll. A couple other important things to talk about when looking at your smoke detector. So where should they go? Well, obviously a smoke detector should be on all levels of your home. Every bedroom, so that, you know, in the middle of the night, if a fire should happen, you're alert, you hear it, and you can get out. Hallways, kind of like we are right here. Should your one in the bedroom not be functioning for some reason, if you have one just outside the door in a hallway or a walking area, you're covered. Not actually recommended to have one in the kitchen, as this is the area where you're often cooking, but it's recommended that it's at least 10 feet away from the stove or primary cooking area, so you're not getting blown up by this thing and getting super annoyed every time you cook. And then as far as replacing them, on the back of your smoke detector, it will usually have a date that it was manufactured. So mine is September 2nd, 2022. It also tells me to replace it in 10 years. So standard is to replace the smoke detector itself every 10 years. If you're curious when you're changing the battery, just look again at the back of your smoke detector, see if you're up to date, make sure you're good to go. If you're curious to learn more, we're gonna be posting more content like this on our YouTube page, so follow along because your home health checkup starts here. I'm Greg with Custom Built Design and Remodeling. Thank you for watching.
I'm here with Kelsey from Paul Davis Restoration. Welcome, I'm excited to talk with you today about personal property.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's something that not a lot of people know a lot about, so it's important information.
Yeah, so tell me, like, when somebody has an unforeseen event happen, a disaster, what happens to their personal belongings?
Yeah, so first thing that's going to happen is a restoration company such as Paul Davis Restoration is going to be on site, and they will kind of categorize your belongings into two groups. First group is going to be salvageable, and the second group's unsalvageable. We want to keep as much as we can in the salvageable, and with those, we'll take them to our facility and professionally clean them, store them even at the facility for you until they're ready to be returned to your home. And for the unsalvageable items, we'll leave them to be claimed with your insurance.
Okay. So speaking of insurance, I know that's a big question when it comes to, valuables that you have. What does that typically look like for a homeowner? Are there items covered under insurance?
Yeah, it's actually a separate category in your insurance. So you have a number for the repairs for your home, and then you have a number for replacing and saving your personal belongings. So you want to get with your insurance agent and make sure that that number for your personal belongings is high enough to have it professionally cleaned and or replaced if it comes to that. You also want to make sure that your insurance agent is aware of any high value items that you have. And another thing to think about is if you don't own your home, you might want to acquire renter's insurance.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kelsey. Super informational. If people want to reach out to you, where can they contact you?
pdrmichigan.com.
Amazing.
In the event of a fire or flood, ensure your belongings are covered. Contact your insurance company or agent to review your policy. Being fully informed and prepared can make a significant difference if an emergency arises. Call Paul Davis Restoration of Mid-Michigan.
I'm here with Stuart from Northville Lumber. Welcome, Stuart.
Hi, Isabel. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So today I want to dive into wood storage. When a homeowner is done with their project and they've got their leftover wood that they want to keep for a future project, what is the best way for them to store it?
Well, the most important thing in most wood species is to keep moisture at bay. Keep the product dry, covered in some way, and stacked in a flat or possibly even a vertical orientation.
Okay, that makes so much sense. So does it matter the type of wood species?
No, everything is kind of the same, except if you have something that's maybe preservative treated, that's meant for outdoor use, then a little bit of water is okay. Stacked flat and straight is still important, but if you have, say, something you're using for interior trim, obviously that would be affected by moisture much more than something intended to be used outside.
Okay. So in general, indoor storage is preferred. If you don't have the space and you've got more construction grade lumber, then outdoor storage could be okay?
Yes. Again, preservative treated, little moisture is okay. Anything else needs to be covered.
Got it. And then what about preventing warping, cupping, chipping? How can a homeowner do that?
Usually those situations all start with moisture. So if you can keep any of the water off of the wood and keep it stacked, flat, or vertical, you should be able to avoid most of those situations.
Amazing. And if anyone wants to reach you, where can they find you, Stuart?
Go to northvillelumber.com or call us anytime.
Thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Before starting your project, bring your plans to Northville Lumber. We can help you calculate materials, suggest tools and techniques, and offer expert advice. This simple step can save you time, money, and prevent costly mistakes during your home improvement journey.
I'm out here with Sam today on site at Consumers Concrete, and we're going to dive into what you can expect when you're getting your retaining wall delivery. So Sam, what can homeowners and contractors expect?
Yeah, there's a couple things that we need from you or your contractor when you're expecting retaining wall or paver delivery. The first thing is, where are we going to stage the product? Typically, a contractor is going to want the product as close as possible to the site, whether it's the driveway, whether it's the backyard, as close as we can possibly get it that makes sense for them so they're not having to lift a bunch of heavy block super far distances.
Yeah. And then what else? I mean, what else should homeowners know?
Your product will actually come on pallets. These pallets weigh about 3,000 pounds each, so they're not light, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about heavy block, heavy pavers. So the biggest thing is our drivers are always trying to stage product as close as they can to the house. Typically, they'll try to put pavers and retaining wall in the front, caps in the back, because that's typically how the process of a retaining wall installation would go, right?
Yep.
The other thing that we really need to make sure of is we're flagging or coning off any certain areas that are important, whether it's the staging area, underground utilities, things that we could possibly run over. We've got trucks that weigh about 70,000 pounds. We park those in the street, and then we unload with a 5,000 pound Moffett. We want to make sure that we're not crushing anything when we get on site and that we're helpful to you guys as well.
Yeah, awesome. And then for the homeowners that are at home, I know as the contractor sometimes, you like to get involved and talk with the delivery driver, but really should all of that stuff be instructed ahead of time? Like, what's most helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, instructions ahead of time. Our drivers will typically try to call you beforehand as well, but anything you can give us, any information is helpful.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Take a look at your beautiful new concrete driveway. Make sure it is cured and sealed so it lasts for decades. Don't let this happen to you. Talk with us. We can help. Go to consumersconcrete.com.
I'm here with Katie from Carpet Studio, and today we're going to talk about window treatments. So welcome, Katie.
Thank you.
I'm super excited because I know this is your specialty at Carpet Studio, correct?
It is, yes.
Awesome. So tell me, in the summer months, what are the best window treatments to keep a home cool?
So I think any window treatment is going to provide some protection from that sun and heat. The most insulating product that's on the market right now is a cellular product. It's the Hunter Douglas Duet. It has a cell inside of a cell, which really traps that heat inside of that cell and keeps it out of your home, keeping the room cooler.
Great. And then what rooms in your home benefit most from window treatments?
So other than any room with a window, really the west-facing windows, it's really important to have something over those windows. That afternoon sun will really heat up your home.
That makes a lot of sense, especially in those summer months as we're trying to keep the AC going.
Right, exactly.
Great. And then what would you say is the most popular product or window treatment that you're seeing in the Michigan area?
So the most popular product, I think, is the cellular or the Hunter Douglas Duet. Very popular. It covers specialty shapes. It covers your standard rectangle windows as well as things like slider doors or French doors or very large spanses of windows.
And then if somebody reaches out to Carpet Studio, what can they expect the process to look like to get new treatments in their home?
So they would just contact us. I will set up an in-home appointment with them where I'll come out, I'll bring samples, talk to them about their needs, take measurements and gather everything we need to provide them a quote.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
My tip for you today is it's important to use the correct products for the care and maintenance of your new floor coverings, as provided by your floor covering specialist. Carpet Studio Flooring America, where friends send friends.
I'm here with Michael Flory, founder and CEO of Custom Built, and today we're going to dive into design build firms. So can you start by telling me what makes a design build firm different from traditional remodeling?
Yeah, just on a high level, traditional remodeling versus design build. Traditional remodeling requires you as the homeowner to coordinate a lot of people. The design build is you got one point of contact, and done well, you'll have one person that will be your guide through the entire process. I would say with another big difference with traditional remodeling, on top of having to coordinate, you're probably going to an outside designer, an outside cabinet company to help you pick out your cabinets. flooring, you're doing a lot of running around. Again, with the design build model, you have one point of contact within that company exists the design team. They have all the parts and players. So your front person that you're working with that's going to be with you to guide you through the whole thing has all those resources within the four walls of their business. Thus, reducing your time from a lot of time, maybe 10x time savings times, or maybe even 100x in some cases, where working with a remodeling company versus working with a design build company, it's going to save you a lot of time.
Wow. So, I mean, you've touched on it already, but really for homeowners, then the big benefit is time saving. What else?
Right. I would say on the flip side, there might be a money savings if you're going to go traditional remodel route. So if you want to be that coordinator, if you want to schedule things, if you want to deal with warranty issues, getting the materials there on site, handling, rescheduling everybody when things fall apart. Because on the design build side, they're going to handle all of that. A lot of the stuff you won't even notice. A lot of times we have to remind customers of all the things that we solved because it can feel very seamless until something goes wrong. But everyday stuff goes wrong. So.
Amazing. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm here with Dan from Acme Exteriors, and today we're going to talk about financing your project. So Dan, what are the best options for homeowners when it comes to financing?
So number one, and people don't often think about this, I recommend people go to their local bank. You'd be amazed at how easy it is to actually get a loan from them, and how often they actually do service home improvement loans.
So you typically partner with local banks then at Acme Exteriors?
So we don't typically partner with them, and we do have our own financing options that we have that we can extend to the clients. But my first recommendation is always check your local bank. You're familiar with them, you have a relationship with them, and it tends to be a really good option.
Yeah, and then for the homeowner on the project side, how does it work to get financing and then to sign the agreement? Like, what does that look like?
So you have to go through a process, just like any loan application. And once you get that application accepted, typically you get the funds and then you pay us.
And then a lot of homeowners I know put off the roofing project because they just don't want to invest that amount of money at the time. And so how can financing simplify that? And what would you say to the homeowner who is waiting to get their roof done even though they need it done?
If you finance now, prices are going to go up. So sometimes financing does make a lot of sense. And honestly, there's some really great programs. One of them is Michigan Saves, which is local to Michigan, and it uses local banks. And they have a focus on energy. So you can kind of do two things at once. I typically say, especially with a roof system and you need it, it's better to just get it done because it could prevent more expenses in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thanks, Isabel.
Did you know a storm door can save energy costs and protect your main door from harsh weather? Plus, it's a great way to let in a breeze on warmer days. Small upgrade, big benefits. Acme Home Exteriors, protecting your home from the outside in.
I hope you've been enjoying the Design and Remodeling Show, where we talk all things expert insights and practical tips to help you transform the place you live into a home you love. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for watching the Design and Remodeling Show with Custom Built. See you next week.